Yo, what's good, y'all? It's your boy HenDawg, and we back to it. You know how we do it. Part two of Magic Johnson and Larry Bird, a courtship of rivals basketball. The first part was a great introduction. If you haven't seen that video yet, make sure you go watch that one. You don't want to really watch this one before watching my first part, because you want to watch it in chronological order. You don't want to miss nothing. So go ahead and watch that video first. If you already have, you in the right spot, man. But I appreciate y'all for tapping in. Make sure y'all subscribe to the channel if y'all haven't already. Go ahead and like this video. Once you like this video, and go ahead and write something in the comments, man. Let me know how y'all feel about Larry Bird and Magic Johnson. Shout out to the Bird Gang. The Bird Gang always come through. If you're part of the Bird Gang, write something in the comments. But I don't want to do too much talking. I ain't about to do too much of an intro. We're going to get straight into part two, man. So we got part two of Magic Johnson and Larry Bird, a courtship of rivals basketball. Let's get it.
Also had a darker side, stemming from a traumatic tour of duty in Korea.
Larry remembers waking up in the middle of the night, hearing his father's blood-curdling screams from the nightmares he had from the war. What happened to his father in the war affected his entire life. He was never able to quite get rid of whatever those demons were.
That's a real thing, huh? Like, I don't know anyone personally that was in, that ever went to, the Marines or the Army or Navy or anything. So I always hear those stories of like PTSD or, the issues that come with, hearing bombs in the middle of your sleep and, not knowing, what's going to happen next with certain things. So if y'all got any like personal experiences, like from yourself, friends, family, that you don't mind sharing, put them in the comments, man, because I want to hear about them. I know other people like kind of are interested in hearing these stories, and I just want to know, like, is that a real thing? And how common is that? Like, how common is, because I know it kind of reminds me of football when we talk about CTE and how common that is to have CTE in football from playing for so long. So how common is it to have these type of issues? They said that the dad, was screaming in the middle of the night, from nightmares that he had. Like, is that a common thing for people that go to the Marines, to the Navy? Like, let me know how y'all feel about that type of topic. I'm curious to hear if anybody got anything to say.
Talented craftsman Joe Bird struggled to hold steady jobs, and even when he was working, his demons would on occasion drive him to the bottle.
There were times when Joe went out with the guys and had a few beers and the wages didn't come home that night. And that didn't happen every day. It happened once in a while. But when money is as tight as it was for the Birds, once in a while was a major problem for their family.
My mom sometimes worked late and sometimes she had two jobs, but that's the way it was. I worked at school during my lunch hours, worked at the local grocery store, put up hay in the summer. I mean, if you wanted money, you had to get it on your own.
He was like a
To young Larry,
kid.
actions spoke louder than words.
He was very quiet, kind of hung to himself a little bit. I saw Larry take an F in an English class because he had to get up in front of his peers and give a speech. He said, I won't do it. But he just could not get up in front of his friends and talk. He was that shy. Of course, next thing you know, when he knew it was time for all of us together at the gymnasium, there he'd be. The minute he'd get a basketball in his hand, things were totally different.
Basketball was just, it came to me, seemed like easy. I didn't have the quickness, I didn't have jumping ability. I just thought the game out.
By his senior year at Springs Valley High, Larry Bird had sprouted into a star. But Bird was from the Valley, hardly a hotbed of talent in the big-time world of Indiana hoops.
The first thing they say, well, they don't play nobody down there. He's from French Lick. They don't play nobody.
I think that put a chip on his shoulder, always having to prove who he was and how good he was.
He was good enough for Indiana University's Bobby Knight to come polling late his senior year. And folks in the Valley couldn't have been prouder. Their local hero was heading 60 miles north to play ball for one of the best college teams in the land.
Once I got to IU, it didn't take long to realize that I was out of my cocoon, had over 30-some thousand students, that I didn't have the funds. First week and a half, I thought, man, this ain't gonna work.
He left after 24 days.
Let my mother down. She didn't talk to me for 2 months. But it didn't matter what other people said. To this day, I don't care.
Back in French Lick, Bird took to working for the city, hauling trash and painting park benches. Meanwhile, by that winter, his father's demons had taken him to an even darker place.
By this point, Joe and Georgia were divorced, and he was behind in his payments to the family. The police came by, and of course they all knew him. So Joe said, hey, I need a few hours to get my affairs together before you take me away. So he called Georgia and he said, you guys will be better off without me, and I'm going to take my life. And he put the phone down and he killed himself. He shot himself.
When Dad passed, it hurt Larry. I mean, that was his best friend. It's gone now. But Larry didn't show it a lot.
He just didn't say much. He just kind of held it within. I've never heard him speak out about it at all.
I was mad when I heard about it, and I was madder after the funeral because I thought he sort of cut out on us during a tough time. But he went through a lot in his life. He did what he had to do.
If Bill Hodges hadn't been as persistent as he had been, Larry Bird might never have existed in any of our minds. I believe that with all my heart. I really do.
It was Bill Hodges, a young coach from Indiana State University, who convinced Bird to give college hoops another shot.
All right, let's rewind a little bit. I want to rewind to Indiana. Why do y'all think he left? It couldn't have been about the funds, because I'm sure he was on a full ride scholarship. So I don't think the funds, is that much of a difference between Indiana and Indiana State. I could be wrong. I don't know if he's going to be a walk-on. I highly doubt that. But what was the real reason do y'all think that he just didn't, get along at Indiana? What happened at Indiana? Indiana State, I'm sure, compared to French Lick, and I don't know, I could be wrong, but is Indiana State that much closer to French Lick, to his home, than Indiana was? He still was at Indiana, so that still could have been a hometown, situation for him. So what do y'all think was the real reason why he left Indiana? I really don't know. I'm kind of trying to figure that out, because if he didn't want to go to college, he would have just not went to Indiana State and just figured something out. So it was something about Indiana. Did he not get along with Bob Knight? It was something about it. Let me know what y'all think was the real reason why he left Indiana that first time and went back home. Let me know.
So with a promise to his mom to graduate, Bird headed to Terre Haute and ISU, a school that never so much had been to the NCAA tournament.
Once I started playing, it's the same old thing. He's at a small school and he ain't playing against anybody, which is fine. Still dominated.
Still dominated. Bird gang. Yeah, let's see some highlights, man. Let's see them.
Now his claim to fame is just the way he plays the game. Indiana has a new state bird. It's not the Cardinal now. Hey Larry, take a bow. Indiana has a new state bird.
By the time he had led tiny ISU as a senior to a 33-0 record and a spot in the '79 title game, Larry Bird had become, alongside Magic Johnson, the talk of college basketball. Just a year after sharing the court on Team USA, they were back together. And the day before the big game, Magic couldn't wait to greet his old playmate.
Indiana State was on practicing, and we were waiting in the tunnel. We got there early. I wanted to definitely say hello to Larry, When they came through, it was like nobody would say nothing. I wanted to go toward him, his guys, made sure that he didn't say nothing. And then they kind of started snickering, Michigan State, you in trouble. We're going to kill you guys tomorrow.
I probably did snub him. I don't remember it, but I'm sure I did.
I'm sure I did.
I didn't want any, I call it love fest, hugging and slapping high fives with opponent. You're there for a reason. You're there to win a game.
That just said it's on now.
And honestly, what I think Magic's goal is, Magic is that I feel like Magic is the type of person that kind of like, let me go get cool with him. Let me try to, let me compliment him a little bit so he not as competitive when we play. Like, I feel like Magic would have tried to play some type of mind game on him, which it probably wouldn't have worked. But I think Larry Bird knew that and just knew how happy-go-lucky Magic was. And Bird ain't trying to be a part of that. He like, man, we about to go to war. Like, I'm not trying to be cool with you. I don't want you to compliment me on nothing. Like, let's go to work. Like, I love both sides of it, though. You got to respect both sides. Because Magic a killer in his own way. Like, don't mistake Magic's happiness and, his smile for not being competitive. He just got a different type of way of showing it. But Bird, he ain't going for none of that.
It is Indiana State against Michigan State. I'm Bryant Gumbel, and the fans.
Hey, Bryant Gumbel been doing this forever.
I mean, let's face it. If Larry Bird were black and came from Chicago, it wouldn't have been as big a deal. They were polar opposites. One black, one white, one outgoing, one shy. That was the charm of the attraction.
Facts.
The Bird against Magic. All of the superlatives have been used, and believe me, all of them have been warranted.
Heading into the tournament, Magic was the bigger star. But by tip-off, it was Bird, having hardly missed a shot in the semifinal, who would become the focus of fans and, more importantly, of Michigan State.
Before we start the game, I want to just kind of talk about, like, I think it's cool to see that it's two different ways to be a superstar. Like, it's different recipes. Like, you don't have to be a super outgoing, super smiling, super into the media person in order to be a superstar. Like, you don't have to be like Magic. And you also don't got to be like Larry Bird. Larry Bird decided, I'm going to just let my hoops, my skills kind of take over, and that'll be how I'll become a superstar. So I think it's cool to see both ways. There's no one recipe on being a superstar, as you can see.
We actually had two men on Larry everywhere he went.
There he is, Dick. Look at they have him sandwiched in completely.
I'm surprised they didn't play a box on one. 4 guys on Larry and one on the other 4, because they didn't have a lot of talent. If you stop Larry, you pretty much stop them.
Look at the pressure around him.
Is that true though? How can you go 33-0? Like, They beat every team in the tournament. Like, yes, they probably didn't need a super great team to like win their conference because their conference probably wasn't that good. But they had to win all these games in the NCAA tournament too. So I don't like that, man. Like, I don't like to sit here and kind of downgrade his teammates because yes, they probably weren't as good as the Michigan State teammates that Magic had. But he had to have some type of talent for them to be 33-0 and to be in the title game. But that's just my opinion on that.
And he's short.
I didn't play well at all. Biggest game of my life, I didn't play well.
Way short.
I think our length and our size, our jumping ability was able to bother him.
Bird leading. Can't score.
I didn't shoot well. Missed, I think, 3 free throws.
Larry Bird has had a cold shooting night.
I battled him, but I didn't have it.
Oh! Hey! Caught that thing back.
National champions, 1979.
Michigan State.
Not only were you leader on offense, I thought you did a great job on Larry Bird in the zone denying the ball.
Yes, Coach gave us a good game plan to go against Larry Bird, and all we had to do was go out and do it. That's what we done.
And congratulations, Super Bowl game.
Damn, Bird gang.
It was over, That was my 4 years. I was done. It still hurts.
He said it still hurts.
When you win 33 in a row and you walk into the game, you never know what to expect. But I expect to win. We didn't win.
He's showing emotion right there, y'all. They say he don't
Toughest
show
loss I
emotion.
ever took.
What'd he say?
Toughest loss I ever took.
Toughest loss he ever took. And something just popped in my head, y'all, about this. Like, whenever I'm watching Michael Jordan highlights, and I know it's not about Michael Jordan, I always see like those battles he had with Detroit and how it was tough on him. And I always say that, in my opinion, I feel like Michael Jordan, the Detroit Pistons kind of turned Michael Jordan into who he was. Like, the Jordan rules and all that stuff that they was doing, like, it turned him into the monster, into the beast that he ended up being for the rest of his career. So when I'm thinking about this game, and I'm like, is this the game that turned Larry Bird into Larry Legend? Like, he took this game to heart. Like, he said it was the worst loss he ever took. So I feel like this was the game. This was the game that turned Larry Bird up. Like, he never played, I ain't gonna say never played bad, but I feel like the way he approached this game, he never approached another game like that again. Like, he learned from this game, and it turned Larry Bird into Larry Legend. So let me know what y'all think about that. Everybody has a point in their career that was like a turning point for them. Like, if you look into every superstar, every Hall of Famer, they had that game, that series, that year. So this might have been that game for Larry Bird. Let me know what y'all think about that.
I knew it was going to haunt him forever because we were going to see each other a lot.
The National Basketball Association, in its 33rd season, is troubled by diminishing crowds and declining television ratings, signs that fan interest may be waning.
If college basketball was flourishing at the end of the 1970s, the pro game was crumbling. After the golden era of Bill Russell and Jerry West in the 1960s, a merger with the ABA in 1976 had led not only to new teams, but a new temperament.
It was a new league with new times, with renegades, with individuals.
There was an argument made, plausibly, I think, that it was too black a league for the United States of America in the late 1970s.
Too black a league is
You
crazy.
think about the Knickerbockers at the time. The running joke was it was the Knickerbockers. That's what it was. It was the N-word.
It's turning off a lot of white customers that are coming to the game,
Why?
I think there's a conflict between the white and the black, and I don't enjoy going to basketball and seeing all black players.
I mean, I think when they said too black, they meant not just in terms of color, but in terms of style. Let me get mine, and the hell with yours.
Basketball for us was about the best moves. You wanted to be that good player that everybody talked about. You wanted to be the one. You didn't think about winning championships or team play.
And those were just the issues on the court.
The NBA had this image of an all-black league with a bunch of guys who did drugs. The teams were losing money, and they had no sponsors. And that's pretty much a death knell right there.
It's a known fact that you need your white superstars. You just need more white ball players on the teams for the white fans to identify with.
And in the newest member of the Boston Celtics, that's exactly what the league appeared to be getting.
There's hope.
Only thing is, if we all would have just had a regular white player come in, it wouldn't have changed much. They needed Larry Bird. Like, it's a difference between a white player coming in and Larry Bird coming in. Like, it's a big difference.
Hope he can help solve professional basketball's difficulties, which some say are compounded by a question of black and white.
The Great White Hope.
The Great White Hope. What does that mean?
Well, it's very hard to say because there's a lot of great white players around, and I just hope that I can just fit in as well as some of them that has fit in.
He ran away from that designation.
Yeah, it's weird.
He made it very clear,
I wouldn't want that.
almost from day one, that he was not the Great White Hope.
The great players are the black players, and they're the best.
Such deference meant little to black Celtics like Curtis Rowe, Sidney Wicks, and Cedric Maxwell, who looked at Bird and saw not the Great White Hope, but another case of great white hype.
He didn't impress me no more than any white guy I've ever seen play before. I think that you would say that most black players at the time were racist, in the sense that we did not think that you could find a white guy who could play better than any black guy.
When I walk in the first day of camp,
Until Larry Bird
them guys were on the floor stretching, and here comes the white savior, here comes this, here comes that. I sort of enjoyed it because I knew I was going to battle them all day. But Curtis and Sidney didn't last long. They didn't even make it through the first practice, and they were cut. So then it was just Cedric.
I'm thinking, oh, he's slow, he can't get off a shot. He's not that strong. This is gonna be a layup. Bam, knocks down the jump shot. Okay, maybe that was luck.
Maybe that was luck.
Gets the ball again. Bam, knocks down another jump shot. Now I'm thinking like, okay, hey, you know what? I'm gonna D this guy up. I'm gonna show him what it's like. 20 feet away. Bam. 25 feet away. Bam. My mind just goes to the, damn, this white guy can play.
He's different.
It was a
Let's get it.
too. The storied Celtics might have been the winningest team in NBA history, but they were fresh off their worst season in 30 years. And in Bird, they had a player who was not only supremely talented, but tough enough to take on any challenge.
I always played like everybody in the world was against me. I thought everybody was against me.
Oh my God.
Think up things to get.
Why they jumping like that? Who? What? That was Barkley. Okay, that's Dr. J right
Everybody in
there.
the world was against me.
He just went 3 against 1 against 3 Hall of Famers. Moses Malone, Charles Barkley, and Dr. J just jumped Larry Bird. Why? And where is his
I thought
teammates?
everybody was against me. You should think up things to get me rattled before a game.
Oh yeah, Bird was on it.
I know that from office.
He was on that.
One night, somebody was giving one of his buddies a hard time, and Larry went over and, said, hey, this is my friend, and this guy was a pretty good-sized guy. By golly, they go out back, and the guy turns and says something to Larry, Larry hit this guy, and I caught him. Hit him so hard, I go, whoa. He was from the old school, and that's how he played.
Larry Bird plays it to the hilt, baby.
I played the game hard.
That's why his back was always hurting. But I say that to say this. Posture check, y'all. You right there that's watching. Let's fix that posture. I know you watching this from a cell phone, a computer or something. You probably hunched over. So let's fix that back, man. I don't want nobody having bad backs because of watching my videos. So fix that posture and let's get back to it.
Played rough.
There was no frills about him. He came in, he threw elbows. There was nothing smooth about Larry.
Hustle.
New Englanders like that. They're hardworking people. They like that. That's how people view them, and that's what Larry was.
Larry Bird.
That's iconic.
They
right
also
there,
like winners. And when Bird led the Celtics to the NBA championship in just his second season, he was finally one of those too.
Athlete. Who said he's not athletic, y'all?
Boston loved Larry Bird. It just wasn't so clear at first how much Bird loved the city back.
There's only one place I'd rather be, French Lick. Thank you.
Man, Larry was almost agoraphobic in his treatment of anything outside his hometown.
He wanted to be the Wizard of Oz. He wanted to intimidate people and keep them at bay. The further we are away from each other, the more I like it.
I had a nice little house. I had my little yard. I want to go from there to practice back. If we had a game coming up, I want to go there to the game and back home. It was all basketball. My whole life was basketball.
Nothing is wrong with that.
If he was just sitting there with just me, you were looking around mumbling, trying to find things that we had in common that we could talk about. Now, we started talking about basketball, we started talking about players who was, it was great. U.S. history? No.
We forced passes, we made errors down the stretch.
Daily events? No.
I made the shot, and from then on we was up by 2, and they had to get back in the game, which they did.
Politics? No.
Try to not do anything I can't do or do no more than what I can do. I just go out and try to do my basic game.
He proudly dubbed himself the Hick from French Lick, and he looked every bit the part. But those who played him for simple did so at their own peril.
One of the great ways, I think, of winding up with no money in your pocket is to think Larry Bird is dumb. Right. Syntax is not intelligence. Unlettered is not stupid.
He's got a great sense of humor. He just didn't show that to people. That didn't mean he didn't have it.
He did, however, allow the public one small indulgence.
You could come out on Saturday and watch him mow his lawn.
Huge crowds started to stop. Larry Bird's cutting grass in front of his house. He's mowing his lawn in the springtime.
Larry is about doing things himself. And I think it's one of the things that made him so beloved in Boston.
But as Bird navigated through his new world, he still had one eye fixed on a familiar foe in a faraway land.
And that's where we're going to end this video at. This is getting good, y'all. It's getting good. Shout out to y'all for watching part 2 with me, man. Make sure y'all subscribe to the channel if y'all haven't already. Make sure y'all like this video if you liked it. And go ahead and write something in the comments. Let me know how y'all feel about part 2. There was a lot of stuff in there. Whole bunch of stuff in there. I think it's easier to, like, as soon as you see something you want to talk about, pause the video, write it in the comments, and start the video again. See something else, pause the video, write the comments. Like, I would prefer that I get 10, 15 comments from everybody than just like one super long one at the end. Like, I don't care what you do, but I just think it's better to kind of break it up so that I can see, you know, all the different comments and not just a one super long paragraph. But however you like to support, man, I appreciate y'all, man. But I'll see y'all on part 3. It's going to get good, man. It's going to get real good. So I'll see y'all for part 3, man. We out.